and welcome to Your Coaching Journey, a podcast for doctors about coaching. Whether you're a coaching doctor, a doctor who is learning to coach, or a doctor who would like to build coaching into your professional life, then this is the podcast for you.
Hello, I'm Tom Dillon, and with me today is my co-host and business partner, Helen Leathers. Hi, Helen, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. I'm just realising that we could just record this bit because we've slipped into just saying the same thing without really giving it much thought. It's become a script.
Yeah, and you have no longer changed your reaction.
I know.
Normally you come up with a wonderful
just saying very well.
Yeah.
What's happening to me?
I don't know. Let's try again.
We'll think about that. No, we'll do it next time.
Oh.
I'm happy.
Okay, good. Good. What are we talking about today?
Today we're talking about how long we've got left on this planet and what we intend to do with that time.
Oh, do you know something we don't? Because it sounds slightly worrying. Are we about to be struck by a meteor, or is Trump about to do something crazy?
Not that I know of, but what I thought was it would be useful, we've not done this before, but to dive into Oliver Burkeman's thought-provoking book, 4,000 Weeks. Actually, I've talked to a few people about this recently, and I remember speaking to one lady and saying, oh, you must read this book. And I've started calling it 10,000 Weeks.
Right.
Now, 4,000 weeks is roughly 78 years.
Okay.
10,000 weeks is a lot longer, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think of visions of living forever. I think I'm conflating 10,000 hours, that idea about, becoming a master of something, having to spend 10,000 hours on it, with 4,000. So I did recommend, read Oliver Burkeman's 10,000 Weeks. Anyway.
She'll never find that book.
Yeah, so the subtitle, the tagline is Time and How to Use It.
Right.
So now it sounds a bit like a time management book, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But actually it's an anti-time management book. And in it, Oliver Burkeman, Ollie to his friends, explores the brevity of human life.
Sounds cheery.
Yeah. Well, so the notion he has is that on average, we live for 4,000 weeks. And it's just a fascinating reflection on time, purpose, how we can make the most of the time that we have.
Still sounds a little bit like a time management.
Yeah, I know, it does, really does. But all will become clear.
Okay.
So we will explore the book, how it relates to coaching, personal growth, achievement of desired outcomes, that sort of thing.
Okay, I shall reserve judgment.
Yes, please do.
I've been meaning to read this book and I haven't, so this is going to be really interesting for me.
I've read it several times.
You've read it for me.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll read it after this. So first of all, tell us the premise. Okay,
so the core idea is that we have on average 4,000 weeks to occupy the planet. So that's actually 77 years and 11 months.
Okay.
So he's a bit short.
He is a bit short.
I don't know whether there's some sort of global statistic about that, but certainly in the Western world, we kind of talk about 83 years, don't we, as being about right. But 4,316 weeks isn't such a snappy title.
Not really.
Maybe,
no.
It was just to get that on the book cover was what he was aiming for. So if we leave that slight statistical error to one side, I think the title is a stark reminder that our time on the planet is not infinite.
So a slightly depressing time management.
Yeah, kind of. So now we've all heard the phrase time is precious, but what Ollie... I'm struggling to say Ollie now. What Ollie does in this book is really make you feel it. So he takes us through the psychological effects of having too much to do and too little time. And we hear this so much from doctors, don't we? That life is busy and there's too much to do, not enough time. So they'll all testify to that, and that can feel quite overwhelming. And what he clearly spells out that it's a delusion. And it's a delusion that we all tend to experience in that we think we can have it all, that we think we can do it all, and all the achievements, all the success, all the experiences can come without us really considering the fact that time is finite. We just don't take into account how little time we have on the planet.
So how does this fit in with coaching?
So one of the things coaches, we are uniquely positioned to help our clients reflect on that, aren't we? and how they're actually spending their time, and more importantly, how it aligns with how they want to spend their time. So their deeper values, their life purpose, maybe what they find fun. That for a lot of time. I was talking on someone else's podcast the other day, and I was reflecting on how often on our training course someone says, I used to really enjoy art, but I haven't done it for years.
Yeah.
And you think, that's something that brings you joy. It's something where you can find flow, and you're just not getting time to do it because you filled your time with other stuff. So that's obviously really interesting. So if we're coaching someone, are they working tirelessly to meet other people's expectations, or are they actually truly working in line with what they want for their life and what their meaningful purpose is, how they want to spend their days? Oh, it's a song just came to me then. It's a Harry Chapin was taught. No, it's not even a song. Harry Chapin on one of his LPs. Long playing records for those that live in the digital world. He's talking about his grandfather, and his grandfather was an artist, and he illustrated, I think, Robert Frost's poetry books. But anyway, he was towards the end of his life was talking to Harry and saying, there's good tired and bad tired, and good tired is a day where you've done what you wanted to do, you've had purpose, you've been in flow, and you rest easy at the end of the day. Bad tired is where you've lived someone else's dreams, you've met their expectations, but you go to bed at night and you toss and you turn and don't sleep easy. So his reflection was that he'd had a good life and he'd done what he wanted to do, and followed his dream.
Oh,
yeah,
that's lovely.
Yeah, I digress.
You do.
So
sorry. I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with it. I can see what you're saying. I can see how that all fits in with coaching. So let's explore that idea that you mentioned there about having it all, doing it all.
Yeah. So Ollie would talk about the cultural pressure to do it all, to fill every second of the day with productivity and efficiency. And, certainly for our doctors, that's a 10-minute consultation. Let's do that. And let's actually not only have a 10-minute consultation, but let's get all the admin involved with that patient done in the 10 minutes too. Yeah. And I was reflecting on this. There's a new AI system called Heidi that will record your consultations, a doctor's consultations with their patient, and it will actually summarize the consultation. It'll cut out the waffle, but it'll summarize the main essence of it, and it'll create referral letters and everything else. And I was reflecting with the doctor about this and saying, it's great, and it should help you connect with your patients in a way that we would want you to as coaches, that you're going to make a real connection sitting in, having a conversation whilst all of the other stuff goes on without you. But how long before the managers, the administrators, the people that run the health service go, oh, actually, you could do it in 8 minutes then.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't need 10 minutes because Heidi's here. So it is a worry. So there's always that push, isn't there, to do things quicker, to do more. And like computers, they're forever getting quicker. But why? Why do we need to do that? Anyway, I'm going to bang on if I'm not careful about that. So obviously modern culture has that way of convincing us that we should all be able to manage every task on our to-do list, answer every email, keep every plate spinning, and just achieve everything that's on our career bucket list. Yeah.
These are my ideal clients. I've worked with these women that, and obviously there are men as well, but my clients who are women who have exactly that situation. So women with children, they take responsibility of most of the domestic tasks and childcare provision as well, statistically, whilst often their husbands or their partners get on with their careers.
Yeah, and I have to confess, I do that as true. And I know you do a lot of work with women around the superwoman complex, and that idea of trying to do it all and do it all perfectly. And it can leave people feeling exhausted, anxious, unfulfilled. So I think this is where coaching, and this is kind of very much the message Oliver Burkeman has, is you're kidding yourselves. You're delusional. You can't do it all. So
Michelle Obama said the same thing. Yeah. Yes, you can have it all, but not all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I was coaching someone the other day who was talking about lots going on at school this time of year, sports days and things like that, and wanting to be a good mother and turn up and support their children at sports day, but then wanting to be a good colleague and be present at work. And that maternal guilt around not feeling like she was doing either thing well. And I think that's obviously a conflict for people, isn't it?
Yeah.
So obviously as a coach, we're going to work with clients who are feeling this pressure, and they may come to us with a long list of things that they think they need to achieve, that feeling of overwhelm, just the sheer amount of stuff coming at them. So what we can do is help them get clarity on what truly matters. And that's the thrust of Oliver Burkeman's book, is let's just focus on what matters. So if we focus on that concept of time being finite, we can then encourage clients to reflect on whether their current way of living aligns with their core values. So what we're asking them is, how do you want to spend what's left of your 4,000 weeks? Because it may be at the point we come to them, they might only have 1,000 weeks left. Might have a couple of thousand, but might only have 1,000. So useful to be able to think about that. I don't have that many left. And I'll use a lot of it in very unproductive ways. So apparently, if you think about it, 1,352 weeks are spent sleeping.
That's quite a lot.
That is quite a lot.
That's a lot.
So that's, I don't know, it's not quite a third of our life. Well, no, it is a third, isn't it? If we take those statistics, it's a third. So about a third of our lives sleeping. Obviously, we need to sleep. We need to be well resourced. So that's, an acceptable part of it. Top stars reckon that we spend 45 weeks in the toilet.
What's that got to do with Top Styles?
Well, they're a bathroom company, aren't they?
I mean, they're a tiling
interested in people spending time in the bathroom. And we spend about 8 weeks queuing in this country. I'm not sure that's true everywhere in the world, but we spend about 8 weeks of our lives queuing. So, we're using up that time, aren't we? So even if we're doing well from a productivity standpoint, we give up a lot of our time just living. So useful to think about.
Yeah. And then, there's running the house, there's childcare. Most of the time that's done by women. Mm-hmm. So they're giving up greater percentage of their time on those activities.
Yeah, and in the coaching room, that might be something that's identified that they want to address. So maybe a conversation with their partner to readdress the balance and free up some time for what they want to focus on. And I've been doing some observations on coaching assessments recently, and one of the coachees was talking about that point in their life where children have left home or leaving home, or certainly old enough to do their own washing, but that I've done all this stuff for so long, everyone just thinks it happens like magic. And now I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be the one doing that. So I need to have a conversation with my husband to say, hang on, there's two of us living here and I'm the only one that's doing all this stuff. So let's recontract around that. So, yeah. And that's a really useful thing to be able to do, isn't it? But sometimes you need to be able to take that step back to really think about it and then have conversations that it's useful to have.
Yeah, this is so my area.
Yeah, it is. And I recognise that in talking about it, that it's very much what you talk to your coachees about. But at the same time, I talk to my coachees in a professional capacity about the same sort of thing. So I think Ollie challenges us to rethink the way we think about time management, the way we view it. So in a world that's promoting productivity hacks, time blocking, the race to do more, I think he just thinks we should embrace the limits of time. So one key takeaway from 4,000 weeks is that we should acknowledge the reality of our limitations and stop pretending. Just that pretending that we can do it all. So I think the same applies to systems like the NHS. So that idea that a 10-minute consultation is what's really helpful in the NHS.
And with that idea,
I don't know. But obviously you see a lot of patients. So from that, you're getting waiting lists down, aren't you? So that works in that. But you probably get a waiting list down at the expense of people keep coming back because you haven't actually resolved what it was they came to see you about. So, yeah. So, and the last time I saw a GP, and this is no reflection on him, he's busy, but yeah, I'd got stomach pain, and stomach pains are always weird for me because my dad died of stomach cancer. So, yeah, it's always an emotional thing for me to engage with that. But between the point that he came and fetched me from the waiting room and the point that I left his consultation room, he didn't make eye contact with me once. He was looking at his screen, looking at notes, doing all the stuff. But yeah, a missed opportunity for human connection, I think. And I know, doctors out there will be saying, we don't have time. But there is time.
I know someone who went to the doctors the other day and they said to me, I was so surprised because they just sat and looked at me and asked me how I was, and they listened.
Probably Heidi was in the background.
May well have been. I said, maybe they're one of our doctors.
Yeah, but that wasn't the doctor's fault. It's a system problem.
Yes.
That they're being pressured into doing 10-minute consultations. So going back to that concept of being able to embrace time, I think from a coaching perspective, that's really powerful. And I think we often work with people that are in that kind of trap of trying to accomplish their goals, but that they don't have enough time. And then they get caught up in that cycle of procrastination and then anxiety about their procrastination and that they're not getting through their to-do list or not achieving the goals they had. So one of the things that Oliver Burkeman introduces in 4,000 Weeks is the concept of essentialism, of actually focusing on fewer essential, meaningful things rather than trying to spread yourself too thin. So a useful coaching question here might be, what would happen if you said no to some of the things that fill up your time?
Interesting.
Yeah.
The first time I did that, nothing happened at all.
Nothing happened. You didn't do anything.
Well, I said no to something and the world didn't end. And it was many, many years ago. And I suddenly went, oh, I can use this word.
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people really struggle, don't they, to say no. And the general reason that they struggle is that they think that other people will be annoyed with them. And there might be, but that's not a reason not to say no.
No.
And it's sometimes that other people being annoyed is a price worth paying, isn't it? For using what's left of your 4,000 weeks in
them being annoyed or you being annoyed, really, isn't it? So.
Yeah, because if you're doing things out of a sense of obligation and then resenting it, the relationship's not working like as it. No. So I think as well as that, the saying no thing, I think it's also useful to think about distractions. And I was coaching someone recently who had taken on an additional role. She's got a full-time role, but took on an additional role anyway, and was contracted to do around 8 hours a week. Was saying she was spending 26 hours a week doing that role. So
wow.
Totally unsustainable. So that's coming with a sense of overwhelm. And so I said, how could you do that? How could you cut down on that 26 hours? And she said, maybe I could spend less time on social media. And I was like, okay.
Was that part of the role?
No.
Oh, okay.
So it was a really odd thing to say out loud. Maybe the sort of thing that most coaches wouldn't tell their coach that, well, I spend time on social media. So I said, well, how long do you think you take on social media? And she kind of thought for it. And she said, well, about 10 hours a week. So out of her 26 hours that she felt she was contributing to that role, about 10 hours a week was spent on social media.
So really, it was like 16 hours a week was that role? Because 10 hours was...
so double what she should have been doing, but a lot less than she thought she was doing. But I think we're all guilty of that, aren't we? Like computers steal our time.
Yeah, we all kid
So if we actually stop and think about, and obviously you've got apps on your phone that'll tell you how much screen time you've spent. But we all spend far too much time scrolling and, doing things that don't actually contribute to our well-being and to our sense of fulfillment in life and to the thought that we're spending our 4,000 weeks well. And now I've nothing against time wasting. I think time wasting is really useful. I think downtime where we're not actually being productive is a really useful way to spend our time.
Yeah.
Let's waste some time, but do it consciously. And I think if we're scrolling on social media, then that's a very unconscious way of time wasting.
Yeah, we quite happily will time waste when we're on holiday, when we have downtime, and it's a form of recharging.
Yeah. So I think we all need to be aware of the amount of time that we spend on. So I've got, obviously, somewhere along the line, Facebook has thrown at me a wildlife clip of the savannas of Africa. And now, because I watched it, now it keeps throwing things at me of lions eating hyenas. And
Okay.
and they're compelling.
I mean,
And as much as I don't want to do it, like, sometimes I thought, oh, that looks interesting. I'm normally left traumatized because some baby cub has been eaten by something, but it's still compelling. I need to stop.
Yeah, you do.
So there's a way that I'm spending time unintentionally. So, and if we count it down from 4,000 weeks, it might just help us to be more intentional in the way we spend our time. I say I am fast running out. But the other way that it helps to think about 4,000 weeks, I'm kind of about three quarters of the way through. So I'm in my last quarter. Now, if I think about that in terms of American football, there's another quarter to play. Like, I want to make the most of that quarter.
Yeah.
I want to kind of, get in there, and it could all change in the last quarter. So I'm very conscious of that, and coming to that with still a sense of energy, and, there's still time to play.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what other pearls of wisdom does Mr. Burkeman have for us?
So one of the other things he talks about is perfectionism, and obviously that's, for a lot of our doctors, that's something that comes into play for them. So now, cards is on the table. It's not something that either of us suffer from.
What are you saying?
No, we don't, do we?
We don't.
We're very much, we'll get things up and running and we'll tinker around it to give it a go, just get it better. But we're very much, okay, that's good enough. Let's leave that, move on.
Yeah.
So
Someone's pointed out a typo on one of our courses last week. It's been up there for
years.
Yeah. No one else has ever noticed. No. We're going to get a flurry of emails now from our students, aren't we? Oh, there's another one on this page.
When I first started the course, people did keep pointing out.
Great.
And actually, Caroline Walker, a good friend of ours, she said, do you want me to do this? Because they keep coming and I keep noticing them. Is it helpful? Or would you like me just to stop now? So,
we should get a proofreader.
We should really.
So, we don't have perfectionism.
No.
What were you going to say about that?
I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. But obviously a lot of doctors do. And, when it comes to something like surgery,
we want that to be
patient
perfect.
records. We want them to be perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, it's life and death stuff. But perfectionism in all aspects of our life isn't sustainable. It's actually a barrier to productivity, to excellence, to fulfillment. Perfectionism doesn't actually work for us. So we have to accept that we can't do everything perfectly, and we shouldn't be trying to do everything perfectly. So again, I think that fits perfectly with coaching. Often clients come with lofty ideals and high standards that they set for themselves and others, but sometimes they get so focused on things being perfect that they kind of miss the value of the journey and actually don't get things finished because they're still dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and run out of time. I've seen people in workshops that I'm running where I'll give them 10 minutes to do an exercise, and they've kind of designed their poster or whatever, but I haven't actually drawn the poster because they want it to be perfect. So, yeah.
So what else can we take from the book, from 4,000 Weeks, to help us in the coaching space?
I think reflection, that's something else that comes into play in what Oliver Burkeman talks about. And obviously that is a huge part of coaching, that we are asking people to constantly reflect on what they're doing, what they want to do, getting a sense of how their actions align with their values and their sense of meaningful purpose. And reflection is a tool we're probably going to use in every session, every coaching session. So, asking someone at the end of the session, what do you know now that you didn't know at the beginning? is a great way to get them to reflect on the conversation that you've just had.
But even just coaching generally is a reflective practice.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if you're coaching well, it shouldn't be you telling the coachee what you think. It should be the coachee thinking for themselves. So, and obviously, the reflection for them can help them to identify patterns of behaviour, gain insights to how they're using their time. I think it's especially useful when clients are working on long-term projects or navigating significant life changes. So just having that sense of self-awareness can help them make more intentional choices, intentional decisions about how they spend their time. So that's one thing, reflection. I think the importance of embracing uncertainty as well, so that a lot of doctors really like control and certainty and don't really embrace uncertainty at all. But life is uncertain and unpredictable, and not everyone gets their 4,000 weeks. We might get 3,000. So really, we have to accept that and be conscious of that. That the more we try to cling to control and have control over everything, probably the less of a free life that we live. We're just constraining ourselves by trying to control everything. So that's really important. And following on from that, it's really about the messages to live in the present and make the most of every moment and just live life fully, really. So he draws on ideas of mindfulness, existential philosophy, and just that idea of constantly looking to improve, move forward, be better than we were yesterday. But just truly living. I think that's kind of the message, really.
So really, to sum up his book, Oliver Burkeman's 4,000 Weeks, it offers really quite some profound insights that are really relevant to coaching. And it seems like it reminds us that time is our most finite resource, and how we use it shapes the life that we create for ourselves. And as coaches, we can support our clients by helping them to prioritise what truly matters and, yes, manage their time more effectively, but embrace imperfection, reflect on that progress as you go along.
Yeah, and I think for him, managing time effectively is kind of doing what you want to do and making sure that your life is kind of aligned to how you want to live it.
It does sound very aligned with coaching and with values coaching in particular.
Yeah. So we're in the perfect position to help people.
Yeah.
But if you've not read it, I thoroughly recommend it. It's a well-written, easy-to-read book. So
it's going on my summer holiday reading list. So thank you so much. It's a great reflection. So really appreciate your input on that book. And
you're very welcome.
For our listeners, if you found that episode useful, feel free to share it with your colleagues or someone who might benefit from the insights we've discussed. And we will see you in our next episode, which is... There are no witches in our next episode. I don't know why you keep mentioning them. But the next episode is going to be about 360 feedback. Excellent. 360 feedback. Until then, take care of your 4,000 weeks. Thank you, Ellen. Bye for now.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.